Okay, what was your title and section in the armed forces?
I was a sergeant of infantry with the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, operating in the provinces around the capital zone, as far south as where the Delta started, and as far north as and west as the Cambodian border, mostly in rubber plantations.
All right. What made you sign up to fight?
I'm a Southie kid, you know. My grandfather fought in the Irish Rebellion and the Black and Tan Wars and helped to free most of Ireland, and my father and his only brother both volunteered for World War II and were both hurt, but they saved the world. I didn't know that what I was signing up for was kind of like I was fighting for a phony country, that the United States and other countries had blocked real, true elections for fear that the communists would win the elections, which they would have, and set up their own government, the government in Saigon, and proceeded to wage war, try to defend the country against the communists.
Alright, in your opinion, was the war necessary?
I not only think it was unnecessary, I think it was illegal and immoral. As I said, at the end of during World War II, Ho Chi Minh was our ally against the Japanese, and what he wanted was a say in what happened to his country after the war. But what the Allies did after the war was give Indochina back to the French in order really to keep the communist faction in France from taking over that country, because there was a communist party, a very strong communist party in France at the time, and in order to make sure that communists didn't get too much of a say in that sphere of influence in Southeast Asia. The war was started on a lie. The Turner Joy and the Maddox, the Tonkin Gulf incident, which really started the war, which President Johnson pushed forward to get a war declaration and build up forces in Vietnam, has turned out to have been a lie. Much like George Bush's weapons of mass destruction was a lie also.
What is one strong memory you have of the war?
I'm one of the very few men out of my unit that lived or come home in one piece. We had 59 out of 78 who were killed in action, and all of the rest of us were wounded. The worst battle that I was in the Michelin rubber plantation, where Michelin Incorporated gets its raw material to make tires, and we knew that there were communists in there because we kept getting ambushed. On the outskirts of the plantation, we were not allowed to go into the plantation because it was marked as private property, which sounds ridiculous in the middle of a war, but that's how it was. And when we did go in, they told us that we were after a company of Viet Cong, about 100 men with small arms, rifles and machine guns. What was actually in there was a battalion of North Vietnamese Army regulars, over 300 men. The area was bracketed for mortar fire so they could drop a mortar anywhere they wanted. Sown with Bunsen Betty mines, a particularly destructive mine. And they had more B-40 rockets, rocket-propelled grenades, than I had ever seen before. And we took a lot of casualties right away. When we ended up holding the battlefield, the communists retired from the battlefield, and when the medical evacuation helicopters started to come in, there was one helicopter that landed that didn't have the Red Cross on it, and the doors were closed, which we had never seen doors closed on a helicopter. And when that landed, myself and another buddy of mine started to drag wounded towards it to get them out of there, and when the doors opened, a bunch of young officers in brand new fatigues and shine boots, you know, they still had creases in their pants. I hadn't had a shower in 30 days. I had been in the jungle for 30 days. And they told us that they couldn't take our wounded out because they had another mission to fulfill. They were there to count the trees that had been damaged so the U.S. could pay reparations to Michelin Incorporated. It told me right then and there just what our government thought of me, just how important our government thought of me, my life, the lives of my friends. Out of the whole war, the only animosity I bear for anyone is towards the U.S. government. I don't hate the Vietnamese people. I don't blame them for trying to kill me. I've always said that if the Viet Cong had come to South Boston, I would have handed them their behind around every corner, just like they did to me in Vietnam. So.
Okay.